I'm Olivia McGreevy, and you're listening to 88.3 The Sting. Today, I am joined by Cobi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
My first question for you is just to give us a little bit of a bio on yourself. Tell us where you're from and kind of just how you got where you are today.
Yeah, well, I'm from a small town in northern Minnesota. I was born in Grand Marais and grew up there mostly. I got into music at a pretty young age. I started playing guitar around like 10 years old, and I started doing like open mics and stuff in my local hometown and playing at bars and stuff on the weekends, blues music in bars when I was pretty young, like 12, 13 years old. So that's how I got started. And, as I kind of came later into my teens, I knew I wanted to get out of my small little town. So I ended up moving down to Minneapolis and I spent some time there and, just did music there for a while. And then I ended up moving out to Boston and had a few different bands in Boston, but ultimately ended up in Los Angeles, where I currently am. And yeah, so I've just been doing music for a really long time, lots of different projects, and now it's basically just what I do all the time.
That is awesome. So obviously you started at a young age, so you kind of knew from a young age that music is something that you wanted to do, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, pretty early. As soon as I picked up the guitar.
Nice. So that was
Yeah.
like the first instrument you learned?
Yeah, I started with piano. I had piano lessons when I was like 6 years old, and that was kind of like an introduction. But when I picked up the guitar, that was when I knew that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So we actually have eavesdropping in rotation here at the station. So if you want to tell our listeners maybe a little bit about the song and your inspiration behind it.
Yeah. Well, eavesdropping is it's a fun song, pretty tongue in cheek kind of a song that I had fun writing one day, and um, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it except for I had a really good time writing and recording it, and I hope you guys like it.
Yeah. So today you had a new single come out,
Yes, had a
Operator.
drop. Yes, today,
Tell us
Operator.
about it.
It's a blues rock song. Um, it's kind of a throwback sounding song,
Mhm.
and there's lots of guitar on it, and yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's I know you also released, I was looking at your Spotify and all your social medias and stuff. You released quite a few singles this year, right?
I'm putting out a lot of singles this year, leading up to an album coming here in the fall.
I was just gonna say, is there an album we can keep an eye out for, maybe?
Album coming really soon. I'm just wrapping up the last few songs for it now, so
That's exciting. Is
really excited.
there anything you can tell me about it?
Um, well, some of the material I've put out this year is going to be on it, some, if not all. I'm still figuring out exactly what songs I want to put on there.
When?
Uh, but it's gonna be between 10 and 12 songs, I think, and it'll be my debut album, actually, my first album I put out, because I
Oh,
put out a couple EPs and a lot of singles, and now it's time to kind of really put out a body of work. I'm still mulling over the title. I have a few ideas, but
okay.
yeah, so I'm still mulling that over. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the final piece, just like what I want to title the album.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned a lot of blues influences earlier and guitar and piano. Who are some of your musical inspirations?
A lot of my musical inspirations are, the early blues guitar players. That was kind of what got me started with music and guitar,
Mhm.
big way. So Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page. Later got into Prince and um, did a lot of jazz guitar players like John Scofield and George Benson. Those were like a lot of my early musical influence. But I love music so much, just as a whole. Like, there's really only two kinds of music. It's like music I like and music I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Not really genre specific so
Yeah.
much. Um, but yeah, so I tend to pull from my early influences a lot more on this recent material, getting more back to like my bluesy sound and my rootsy singer songwriter sound. So yeah, I'm an independent artist now. I
Mhm.
have been for like a little over a year. I
Okay.
was on a record label called 300 before that, and it's been really liberating to be independent artist, especially over this last year, and being able to experiment and release different kinds of music that I've written that I felt inspired by, and to not have any outside influences kind of influence the way or the direction of the sound. So
Mhm.
that's, I think, one thing that I'm most excited about with the album coming up is it's really just kind of me getting to explore, but also get back to my roots a bit and really just be myself as an artist and not have to worry about like meeting some quota for somebody else, or or trying to be commercial enough or radio play. I can really just be free now, which is really inspiring. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of going to be like the main thread of the album for sure.
So with the album, and I know we talked a little bit earlier about playing live, do you have any plans for, any live performances coming up?
No, I really want to get out and tour again and play live again. COVID really shut down my whole
Yeah.
touring. I lost my team.
Mm.
I lost my booking agent. I've lost my manager. So really, it's down to like super do it yourself right
Mhm.
now. And so that's part of why I don't have a lot of dates on the calendar, or any dates on the calendar right now, is I just don't have a booking agent. So if there's any agents out there that are hearing this and they're interested in working with me, please reach out, hit me up, Instagram, whatever, send me a note, and we can talk. But that's definitely something I want to do is get back out on the road.
Mhm.
Yep,
Definitely.
especially after I drop this album. So I'm hoping, cross my fingers, the right people come into my circle again, the right people come in my life, and then 2022 I can hit the road pretty hard. That's what I hope. And I like being in this business as long as I have been. I've seen people come and go, and team members come and go, and different agents throughout my whole career. It's just part of the whole deal, for a lot of artists. Like people just come and go, teams get recycled. I think I've even had my like gone from project to a different project, and been with an agent on one project, and then they would, for whatever reason, they would leave, and then
Mhm.
like 5 years later they come on my next project, they come back around and they're my agent again. So
Mhm.
it's a small business.
Wow.
So
Yeah. To ask you earlier, because you had mentioned that you kind of moved around a lot throughout your early career. Did you find that kind of hard for yourself, or did you enjoy that you were kind of in new settings every once in a while?
I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I find that being in, for me, well, growing up in Minnesota, I definitely wanted to get out. I was there for good until I was about 20 years old, and then I moved out to Boston. And yeah, just having new influences, being in new circles of talented people is probably one of the best things I think you can do for yourself as an artist, because then you continue to grow yourself. You continue to be surrounded by people who are better than that you
Mhm.
can learn from. So I think it's I really enjoyed moving around, and it actually has helped me develop as an artist for sure.
Where can our listeners find out more about you and your upcoming projects?
Listeners can follow me on my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. Not that active on Facebook these days, but
Mhm.
I still post most of my relevant news there. But really anywhere, just come subscribe or follow me, interact with me, hit me up on my DM, and I'm always talking to people and fans, and I really, especially being an independent artist, like your direct connection to your audiences. So yeah, definitely come follow me, find me, subscribe, and yeah, I'm there. I'm pretty easy to find. So thank you
Awesome.
guys for supporting the music, and thank you for having me on today. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.